Hello there, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna see this iconic British film, Bohemian Rhapsody. This amazing film is based on the true story of Queen's journey from the start of the rock band to their now legendary 1985 performance at the Live Aid concert in Wembley Stadium. So let's begin. First, we're gonna start with all the British slang vocabulary used throughout the film that you'll be surprised, but there are quite a number of words. One example is wanker. When the British say this, they are insulting you because probably they are really angry. Wanker is a very stupid person, usually a man, and yes, it's very vulgar. And if you respond to them when they are angry and they don't agree with what you are saying, they could say, "That's bollocks," which is another rude word for nonsense used in the UK. However, if the British talk about their partners, they would refer to them as an epic shag, which means that he is a really good sexual partner. On the other hand, we've got a misfit. A misfit is someone not accepted by the society or a certain social group because his or her behavior is strange or unusual. For example, I was a bit of a social misfit at college because I didn't like going out at nights. Another example can be I didn't really know anyone at the party, so I felt like a misfit. Then we've got a chap. This in Spanish would be something like un tipo. He's a nice chap, for example. And bloody is a word that can be used to describe simply something covered with blood, or most often used by the British when they want to express anger or emphasize what they are saying in a rude way. For example, this computer is bloody useless, it's always going wrong. And we reach to one of the most vulgar slang word, which is asshole, also known as asshole in the US. This word is to describe an unpleasant and stupid person, especially when someone is angry with that person because they have done something stupid. Well, enough of all this language vocabulary. Now we've got words related to the world of music. Bass. Bass means to produce low musical notes either when someone sings or simply the sound of an instrument. Demos is the short form for demonstration, but in the music industry means a short example of something to show what it is like. Then we've got lip sync. Lip sync is when a singer or a performer acts as if they are singing, when actually they are just moving their lips. Overdub is when we record additional sounds on an existing recording. Then we've got an anthem. An anthem is a song that has special importance for a particular group of people or a country, often sung on special occasions, like for example, the occasion in the picture. Bizarre is a word used to describe something very strange and surprising, like the photo of Donald Trump being Doctor Strange. Don't you think it's so bizarre? I do. The loo is an informal way of referring to the toilet, and it's very British. An outcast is a person who is marginalized by the society and therefore has no place because people refuse to accept them. In Spanish, it would be translated into el marginalizado. Treacherous. Treacherous has two meanings, as you can see. It can be simply a synonym of dangerous, or it can also be used to describe a person who cannot trust because you know that they will betray you. An example, he trusted much to his memory, which was occasionally treacherous. Then we've got inscrutable. Inscrutable means impossible to understand or interpret. The word is actually the same in Spanish, but the way we pronounce it in English make it difficult to know what it is like. Yes. Then we've got a pint of lager. A pint of lager is what we can see in the picture. A glass of fresh beer, but lager refers to the golden color of the beer. Subtle. Subtle is a really nice word, and it means something so delicate or precise as to be difficult to analyze or describe. For example, there is a subtle difference between these two plants. Time for phrasal verbs. One uncommon phrasal verb used by the British is when they say that their ears prick up, which means that they begin to listen carefully because they have heard something interesting, so therefore their ears prick up. Do you know what it means in Spanish, right? Settle for something. This phrasal verb is used when something is accepted although it is not exactly what you want for it. For example, they were hoping to sell their car for £2,000 but settled for £1,000 and 500. To get rid of something is to remove something because you no longer want it. For example, it's time to get rid of this old sweater. To pull over is used when a vehicle moves to the side of the street and stops because something happened. Maybe the police asked for it or any other reason, like the car in the photo, for example. To put off something, such as an event or a meeting, is linked with the idea of procrastination, because when you put off something, you postpone the event at a later time or date. For example, the meeting has been put off for a week. But if you decide not to postpone the event, you will need to figure out the problem, right? To figure something out means to simply solve something. For example, if they know the cause of the problem, they might be able to figure out how to prevent it happening again. To crank up something or to crank something up is when we increase the volume of a radio, TV, or stereo. For example, the kids cranked up the volume on the stereo. Hideous. Hideous is a really nice word. I really like it, but not because of its meaning, because not everybody uses it. Something hideous is something extremely ugly or bad, like the girl's t-shirt. Oh God, get away from my view, it's hideous. A dwarf is a tiny person, as you can see in the picture. Conceited describe a person who is too proud of himself about his actions and abilities. For example, without wishing to sound conceited, I am the best salesperson in the company. Famine is a really important word for the film, and you are gonna find out why. Famine is the situation of not having food in a country, and it's a synonym of starvation. A vulture is this creature that you can see that eats dead animals, but vulture can also be used to describe a person or people who exploit others as well. For example, when a company is in crisis like this, the vultures are always hovering. Stack is simple, a pile of things. Nuisance means something or someone that annoys you. For example, it's a nuisance filling out all these forms. What is a nuisance for you? Stick to something, usually used stick to the matter or stick to the point, is to adhere to a commitment, belief, or rule. In Spanish, it would be something like adherirse a, vamos a lo que nos importa, a lo que nos compete. Then we've got a gig. A gig is a job usually for a specified time, especially an entertainer's engagement. One example is the band is going to Atlanta to play a gig at the Fox Theater. Widget. Widget is a small tool or other useful object that you do not know the name of. For example, the helmet has a clever widget attached that will record your experience as you cycle down the mountain. Unbridled means no control or limited, usually used to describe things not human, like, for example, a moment of unbridled ambition. In Spanish, desenfrenado. And finally, one last word is pledge. Pledge means a serious or formal promise, especially when to give money or to be a friend or something. You give us something, you will keep a promise. For example, the conference ended with the pledge to limit pollution. Well, that's all that you will need to know before watching this amazing film, Bohemian Rhapsody. Say goodbye to the Queen. See ya.